Hey Stoners, welcome to another edition of Sticks-n-Stones. I'm your host, Brent Elrod, coming to you from the cozy confines here on the patio at the No Shoes Bar and Grill, deep in the heart of the Republic of Texas. I have a great show lined up today. I am pairing a Drew Estates Deadwood Tobacco Company Fat Bottom Betty with Treaty Oak Ghost Hill Texas Bourbon. If nothing else, it's got a great name. I think it's going to be a great matchup, so right after this we are going to pop the cork, cut the stick, and get to toasting. Now, the Fat Bottom Betty, as I said, is part of the Drew Estate line. It's manufactured in Nicaragua, and it's got a filler and binder that is Nicaraguan. There is some debate on the wrapper. Everybody agrees it's a Maduro, but I have read Brazilian, Nicaraguan, or Connecticut. Now, knowing Drew Estate as I do, I would think it's probably Nicaraguan. But it is a Robusto. It's 5 by 54 on the ring gauge, so that's kind of where the fat bottom comes from. It is a medium strength. Visually, it is dark, oily brown with tight and basically invisible seams. There might be slightly visible. It's got minimal veining. It's got a double cap. It is kind of roughly rolled, which is indicative of this Deadwood tobacco line. Now on the nose, I get some wonderful notes of floral and maybe some hay. And possibly just a little bit of leather. All right, let's give it a cut using the Cassetti multi-cutter V-cut. Now, this has a sweetened cap, and that is really the first thing you notice. As soon as you put it on your lips, you get that sweetness. Now on the cold draw, I get maybe some raisins, a nice sugary sweetness, maybe a little hint of baking spices, nutmeg, possibly maybe even a little bit of cinnamon in there. I think this is going to be a great stick. Now, Treaty Oak is a Texas distillery. Texas, they didn't start distilling whiskey until about 2004, I believe, and Treaty Oak came along in about 2006. So it's one of the older craft distilleries, but they have some wonderful lines. The mash bill is 57% corn, 32% rye, and 11% barley. So it's probably going to be something along the lines of a Buffalo Trace, Weller, maybe even Pappy Van Winkle, one of the more wheated bourbons. Get a nice little bit here in the glass. One drawback, you know how I am about corks. And this is screw-on. Not really much on screw-on caps. If you're going to do it right. Now, the Ghost Hill, this particular product is aged for 2 years. It's 47.5% alcohol by volume, so 95 proof. Visually, it's got some really good legs on it. It's got a nice kind of coppery, deep copper reddish color. There could even be some like tinges of yellow in it. Now on the nose, I get a really nice woody character out of it. These are aged in number 3 oak bourbon barrels. I get some baking spice. Maybe some leather, some raisin, and kind of a toastiness. So let's give it a try. Initially, it's got wood on the front. It is a little sweet. It's got a lot of corn in it. It has to be more than 51%, and it's 57. So it's got a little bit higher corn content in it. Makes it a little bit sweeter. Again, like I said, on the nose, I get a little toastiness on the palate. Baking spices. This is more along the lines of like cloves. I do get a nice little hint of vanilla. And then let me check the finish one more time. Yeah, I get a really nice creamy butterscotchness on the finish. It's got a pretty decently long finish on it. You do, even though it's 95%, I do pick up a little more of the alcohol burn and a little alcohol in the nose, and I believe it's probably a little bit more than some of the higher proof whiskeys I've had in the last few weeks. So that's kind of odd, but it's really good whiskey. All right, let's go ahead and light this puppy up. I am again this week using my Rocky Patel Envoy 5 torch. I know that there are some purists out there that say, oh, you have to use a single or you have to use a double, you don't want to burn it. Hey, the burning it comes from getting the flame too close to the tobacco, not from how many burners you're using. I keep this 5 torch about 2.5 or 3 inches away, so you're just kissing the end of the cigar. Before I touch it more to the base of the flame and just kiss the tobacco up against it just enough as I draw off of it to get a nice light. There is a tremendous amount of smoke coming off of this stick. It is what I always term a smoke monster. I'm kind of surprised because the wrapper is really oily, and I kind of thought that it might be a little bit harder to light because of that. But a very nice velvety smoke coming off. I get some black pepper and some leather, some wood, nutmeg, and then of course, as I mentioned, a good sweetness off of it from the sweetened cap. I kind of feel like that will kind of die off as the burn goes along. We're going to see if it maintains a sweetness all throughout. All right, let's try these together. Okay, they are going very well together right here in the beginning. The nutmeg and the vanilla and the sweetness are all kind of marrying together. Both are just sweet enough to really work together. You know, you've got the spices and the vanilla and the butterscotch off of the Ghost Hill kind of marrying together with the sweetness in the stick and the kind of floral on the aroma, which is coming off in the smoke. This is a really good pairing I've got going here. So I am going to go ahead and burn this down to the halfway mark, and I will come back and give you an update. Hey Stoners, I am back. This is coming together as a really great pairing. It may turn some of the purists off because it's got a sweetened cap and the fact that the Deadwood series, like most of Drew Estate's offering, the Acid line and the Java line, they are infused cigars because many considered flavored, but it is it's more subtle than that. It's not like the ones, the cherry and the grape and all that crap you buy in the, convenience stores. And legal disclaimer, I'm not trying to throw off, whatever. But Drew Estates puts out some awesomely wonderful infused cigars. The Cuba Cuba, which I've reviewed before, is great. This Deadwood series is great. I love the Java line. That's kind of a collaboration between Rocky Patel. So, of course, I love Rocky Patel too, but who are you going to give the credit to? Some of the sticks have Rocky's name on them and some have Drew Estate. So, whatever. They're great. They're wonderful cigars. But here at the half, the stick has now opened up with some maple and some cinnamon and some espresso, kind of just adding to the flavor explosion that you've already had. And the Ghost Hill is still mixing very, very well. It is just sweet enough to keep up with the stick, and it gives us some complementing flavors of baking spices and vanilla to create just a wonderful cornucopia of flavors in your mouth. That's a big word for a country boy. I'm going to go ahead and burn the stick down the rest of the way, and I will come back and give you my final thoughts. Hey, Stoners. The glass is now empty, and the stick is down to the band. The last half of the stick brought in some very nice cinnamon tones that melded well with the baking spices to really make that last half a joy. And the Treaty Oak Ghost Hill was a perfect match. Its nose and palate profile were an absolutely couldn't do better match for this particular stick. It brought its own spice blend with vanilla and then had a butterscotch finish on it. So it was some nice creamy notes to go with the sweetness that's on the stick. I would give the stick a 90. Really only losing points because it's an infused cigar. I would give the Treaty Oak Ghost Hill, I'd give it a 92. Number one, I wouldn't want to give it a higher rating because I don't want to come off as like a cult fan. But it is a really, really good bourbon. If I could offer one critique to Treaty Oak, I would say instead of 2-year aging, I would do somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 5. I think that would help mellow it a little bit more and would make it an even better spirit. It is really good. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Please hit like, subscribe, share, notify so you keep up when I drop new content. You can find me pretty much everywhere: Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast. I'm hosted on Podbean, and then you can catch me on Instagram, Facebook, Getter, Truth Social. But until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry, your stones cold, and have a great day.